Today we're going to talk about sequences and series and how to write the terms of a sequence. A sequence is simply an ordered list of numbers. Ordered meaning in order from the first one to the last one. There's two kinds of sequences. The first is a finite sequence and an infinite sequence. All right, let's talk about finite sequences first. They end. They have a finite number of terms in them, a countable number of terms. So we can start with 1, 1, 2, 3, 5 are the first the first 5 numbers in the Fibonacci sequence, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or we can also have 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1. And an infinite sequence would be 1, 2, 3, followed by dots. Those are the counting numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. Those are the even numbers. 1, 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, numbers that are decreasing. Going back to the finite sequence, the first one we had 5 terms. The second one we had 7 terms. The third one we had 4 terms. Even though there's only 2 numbers, 1 and -1 in the sequence, we have listed the first 4, so there are 4 terms there. The little dot, dot, dot at the end means it goes on and on forever if it doesn't have a number beyond those dots. So that's an infinite number of terms in an infinite sequence. We can also write a finite sequence without writing all of the terms. For instance, if I do 1, 2, 3 to establish the pattern, and then dot, 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 10, it means it goes up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just a shortened way to write it, and there would be 10 terms in that sequence. Let's take a look at the sequence 3, 6, 9, 12. 3 is the first term, 6 is the second term, 9 is the third term, and 12 is the fourth term. The first term is a sub 1. The second term would be a sub 2. The third term would be a sub 3. The fourth term would be a sub 4. The nth term would be a sub n. So the variable n stands for what order it is in the sequence. Is it the first term? Is it the 10th term? It's also called the general term. N is a natural number or a counting number, so we always start our n with 1. We don't start with 0 or -1. It always has to start with 1. If we look at a sub n equals 3n, then we substitute n equals 1 for the first term, which would be 3. N equals 2 for the second term, which would be 3 times 2 is 6. A sub 3 would make it 3 times 3 is 9. And a sub 4 would make it 3 times 4 is 12. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12 as our sequence. Okay, an example, write the first 3 terms of the sequence whose nth term is given by the formula a sub n equals 2n minus 1. So we want the first 3 terms. The first term would be 2 times 1 minus 1, and that's 1. Notice that I'm substituting 1 for n. 2 times 2 minus 1 gives us 4 minus 1 gives us 3. Once again, I'm substituting the little subscript n for the n in the formula. A sub 3 equals 6 minus 1, which is 5. So our the first 3 numbers in our sequence are 1, 3, and 5. Go take a look at checkpoint number 1 for this lesson, and we'll get started on the next part. This is find the 5th and 8th terms of the sequence whose nth term is given by the formula a sub n equals n over n plus 1. So to find the 5th term, I'm going to substitute 5 for n, so it's going to be 5 over 6. And the 8th term is going to be 8 over 8 plus 1, which is 8 over 9. So 5, 6, and 8 ninths are our terms in the sequence. And notice that they don't always have to be integers. They could be fractions. So go take a look at checkpoint number 2, and we're done. There's the baby. I'll see you in class.